Hello everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Family Wealth and Other Musings. I am your host, Becky Easton, and today is a Monday, and on Mondays I ask you to do a little bit of meditating with me, thinking about some of the bigger questions when it comes to your life and your legacy. Passing down your legacy is much more than just passing down assets. There is so much more to you, including your values and your stories and your experiences that are able to create a different type of inheritance. And in order to be able to leave that, you have to capture it. Right? And so things like, with the advent of social media and technology and whatnot, I feel like we do have a much more ongoing record of someone's life throughout the years, through day by day, sometimes, especially here with this podcast, right? You're hearing from me every single day. With just a little bit of my wisdom and knowledge. But, we're not always talking about the things that we want to be passing down, our actual values. A lot of social media gets pretty superficial, right? We're only seeing the good things and not necessarily taking to heart some of the lessons or being intentional exactly about sharing, right? It's for a different purpose that we're creating accounts like that and doing blogs and TikTok and all of that, right? So today I ask you to think a little bit about spirituality and not religion necessarily, but just spirituality. Do you consider yourself to be a spiritual person? I certainly do. I would not say that I'm religious at all, but spiritual, I definitely agree and feel that there is, a connection between all of us and something tying people together. And so part of that and what kind of shapes that is important to think about. What are the spiritual values that you would want people around you to know that you feel strongest about? And, maybe you don't really have any that you want people, that are important enough for people to know about. On the other hand, maybe it's very clear because you are wearing super cute branded I Love Jesus t-shirts, or you're always talking about your time at church and your activities there, and talking to people about your religion and including it in conversation, right? What is it? What are those values? And are you communicating them well? If you do feel like you have something you would like people to know about you, are you communicating that very well? And then kind of what ties in to that, are there any specific life lessons? And since we're talking about spirituality today, we'll tie it into that. Are there any specific life lessons related to your spirituality that you would want to ensure your loved ones learned from you? And that can you can take that in a couple of different ways. Is that you would want to ensure that they learn it from you and not somebody else, or just that you have information to give and you would like that they learn it from you. So we are going to take a couple moments to just breathe and think about these few questions. Just generally your spirituality, what spiritual values would you like the people around you to know you feel strongest about? And are there any specific life lessons related to your spirituality that you would want to ensure your loved ones learn from you? So as we start this off, go ahead and get into a comfortable spot. We're only doing this for 2 minutes, so you could even just be standing, but find just a place to be still and move around a little bit so you kind of get your wiggles out. Right? Move your shoulders front and back, up and down. Move your chest from side to side. Do some seated, or if you're standing cat-cows. Curling your back, pushing your chest forward. Move your hips a little bit. Knees, maybe. Rub your toes. Move your toes, wiggle your fingers, your wrists, everything. And then come to be still. And if you're listening to this in the car, you're not going to close your eyes when I instruct you to, but you can be still with me, mostly. Still pay attention to driving, please. So, all right, I want you to take a deep breath in and sigh it out. Then we're going to do that 2 more times. In and sigh it out. Last one. In. Sigh it out. All right. And you just go back to your normal breathing in and out through your nose. And I'm going to start this timer for 2 minutes. Be thinking about your own spirituality, what values are important to you, and what lessons you would like to pass down. If you've got any sounds or if your mind has wandered, that's okay. Acknowledge it and bring it back for the last moment. If you had your eyes closed, you can go ahead and open them. Wiggle your fingers and your toes. Circle your neck around. Move your shoulders up and down again. And just come back to us. And thank you for spending a couple moments in thought with me about that. I think spirituality is a big question, and a lot of times it gets caught up in the religion conversation as well, and it's hard to pull the two apart, because I kind of feel like, spirituality is a bigger, the broader bit of it, whereas religion fits inside that. It's a certain expression of spirituality. And so sometimes it's when you hear the word spirituality, you think religion, and I don't think they're always. I think it's like rectangles and squares, right? Like squares are always rectangles, but rectangles aren't always squares. And so they're just like that. You have that religion is always spiritual, but spirituality is not always religious. Anyway, well, that was good. I got some good thinking in just about what's important to me, and I hope you did as well. Thank you again for listening in. This is another episode of Family Wealth and Other Musings. I'm your host, Becky Easton, and I hope you tune in tomorrow when and I hope you tune back in tomorrow and every other day after that to keep me accountable to posting an episode every day for the next just under 300 days this year. So thanks again, guys. I will talk to you tomorrow.